If you're planning to take any international exam in order to have your English certification, but you don't know which exam to choose among the many options that exist, such as IELTS, TOEFL, MET, or Duolingo, keep watching this video because I will be explaining you the differences, similarities, and features between IELTS and MET. So let's get started. The main similarity is that both exams evaluate four skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But here we have the first difference. In the MET exam, we have that they evaluate also grammar. That's the first difference they have. They have 20 questions of grammar for students. So if you're not that good at grammar, probably it could be a good option to go for IELTS. Now let's talk about the type of exams they have, or better, where you can take the exam. Both of them give you the possibility to take a computer-based test at a test center. Also, both exams give you the possibility to take the exam on a paper base. Nonetheless, this exam is less common. But the biggest difference is that the MET gives you the possibility to take the exam at home, while IELTS doesn't give you this opportunity. They don't have this feature included in the type of exams they promote. So if you think that taking the exam at home is a good option for you, MET could be your best decision. Now let's move to the next feature, and it is about the cost. We have that the MET regularly costs $150 to $160. It depends on the country where you are located, while IELTS has a price of $240 to $260. It also depends on the place where you are located. So before making a decision, you can check or verify the information in your own country. The next category to take into account is the score. What score MET certifies and what score IELTS certifies? Well, we have that the MET starts with A1, goes with A2, B1, B2, up to C1. That's the maximum. While IELTS has A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. So if you are aiming at getting a C2 level certification, definitely your unique option is IELTS. Now let's move to the next category, that is the acceptance. MET is recognized in different parts of the world. However, IELTS is much more known than MET, especially in Europe. So for people who might pretend to go to any university or apply to any program to Europe, probably the best option is to go for IELTS. However, if you're a nurse or probably a healthcare worker, you might go for MET, especially if you're working in the US. So your choice depends totally on your goal. If by the end of this video, you still feel not sure about which exam to choose, feel free to contact us. Just click on the link below and we will be happy to help you decide your exam. Now let's continue with some of the most important characteristics before you make your decision. And it is about listening, reading, writing, and speaking, which are the skills that are evaluated. Let's start with listening. In the MET for listening, you will only have multiple choice questions, while in IELTS, you will have different type of questions, such as filling gaps, multiple choice, matching, among others, making the exam much more diverse than the MET. Another characteristic to take into account is that IELTS is British English mainly, but MET is mainly American English, so that can help you as well in order to make a decision. Now let's move to the next category, and it is reading. In reading, we have an important difference. In the MET, you will have grammar, 20 questions about grammar, while IELTS, you don't have them. What are the differences in the exam? Well, in the MET, you have only multiple choice questions, A, B, C, and D. While in IELTS, one more time, you have multiple choice, true, false, not given. You also have matching, but as I have just described, you have different type of questions. This is super important whenever you make the decision about what exam could be the best for you. Now let's move to the next category, and it is writing. In the MET, we have that you need to answer 3 questions on a row on a related topic, and later you need to write an essay. While in the IELTS, you need to write a letter or a report as the first task, and later you need to write an essay. There is as well a difference about time. In the writing part of the MET, you will have 45 minutes, while in the IELTS, you will have 1 hour to complete both tasks. And the last skill we need to take into account whenever we make the decision is speaking. What are the characteristics of speaking? Well, in the MET, we have that you just need to record your voice. You will have one question after the other one, answering to some specific questions that you will be able to read and listen. Once you read and listen the questions, you need to record your voice. But in IELTS, you will have an interview. Someone will be asking you some questions in person. You won't be recording anything. Therefore, whenever you go to an exam like this one, you need to be ready. Do you wanna just record your voice, or do you prefer, you feel more comfortable whenever you have an interview and you interact with a person face to face? Depending on your abilities, you may choose one or the other one. Just consider your abilities, and in that way you can make your decision. But that's not all. We need to consider other features that the exam has. For example, both exams allow you to retake one skill just in case you might have gotten a lower score than expected in one skill. You can retake it. So that's an advantage that both exams have. At this point, you may say, okay, so what I can do in order to choose my exam? Well, what you need to do is to put on a balance all what we have seen. You need to consider the content of the exam, taking into account that one of them has grammar. Also, you need to consider the type of test. Just MET allows you to take the test at home. Obviously, the cost is an important thing to consider. MET is cheaper, but there it comes another factor, acceptance. Are you allowed to present an IELTS certification, or do you need to have an MET1? Obviously, this score, if you want to have a C2, the only option is IELTS, no more. And the type of questions. For example, MET is mainly multiple choice, while IELTS have different type of questions. And one of the most important parts, speaking. Are you good at recording your voice, or do you feel better when you have an interaction with a person? Based on these different characteristics, you can make a decision. I know this information that I have just given you has helped you a lot. So just comment. IELTS or MET, which exam did you choose? Let me know. I would be happy to read your comments.